Homes are gone, businesses are gone. Roads and infrastructure along the storm's path have been destroyed. This hurricane was an absolute monster, and the damage left in its wake is still yet to be fully understood. Today, the top focus is search and rescue. We prayed that Floridians stayed safe. Last night, the National Guard, Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission, and Florida Highway Patrol drove into darkness and unknown light last night to begin rescues, and there are a lot of other people that went with them. Highway Patrol, DOT, utilities, healthcare workers. I mean, it's the bravery of people doing this is unimaginable. Pray for each of these individuals. Our law enforcement and first responders are heroes and are leaving their families to help others. We cannot thank them enough. This morning, I will be joining the Florida National Guard to survey damage in Panama City and Mexico Beach. The Florida Department of Transportation is leading a massive effort this morning with dozens of crews to clear debris along critical roadways so first responders, National Guard, medical personnel, food, water and supplies, and utility workers can get to where they are needed. Do not get out on the roads today. Do not travel home today. Roads are not open, and you will not be able to get home if you live in or near the coast. I know this has to be very, very frustrating. I know you just want to go home, you want to check on things, and begin the recovery process. We are working as quickly as possible to make that happen. But first, we need your help, your patience, and your understanding that before you return, we have to make sure things are safe. And law enforcement and rescue workers are able to save lives. This also applies to families that sheltered in place. If it is not safe to leave your house, don't leave it. Don't take a chance. Listen to local officials. Do not go out and explore the damage. Let the professionals do that. You will only put your own life and the lives of others at risk if you venture out onto unsafe roads. Again, if you and your family made it through the storm safely, which I prayed that you did, the worst thing you can do now is to act foolishly and put yourself and your family in danger or keep law enforcement and rescue workers from saving somebody's life. I cannot stress this enough. We also need people to be very safe if you're using a generator. Do not put a running generator in your home. Look at the instructions. Follow the instructions to a T. Be safe. Following the landfall, I requested that President Donald Trump issue a major disaster declaration to allow federal resources to flow quickly into the impacted communities. I spoke with the President before landfall yesterday and again just a few minutes ago, and he is committed to make every federal resource available to help the recover. I was also briefed by the U.S. Coast Guard yesterday. They were pre-positioned in Tampa and Mobile with critical assets and resources during the storm and will be deploying for a response. The Coast Guard last night ran 10 rescue missions through the night, and they have already saved lives. I spoke with the Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristen Nielsen this morning. I also spoke with Brock Long this morning and met with FEMA's Southeast Regional Coordinator, Gracia Check. Homeland Security and FEMA have committed to providing everything we need, and we remain in constant contact with FEMA and all our federal partners who are mobilizing this morning. As I said last night, we are deploying a massive wave of response, and those efforts are already underway. Help is coming by air, land, and sea. We have 3,500 Florida National Guard with more than 1,000 high water vehicles, 13 helicopters, and 16 boats for humanitarian assistance, security operations, and search and rescue. The Florida National Guard has coordinated for 15 aviation assets from 9 other states, including 6 helicopters from New York, Mississippi, Maryland, and Ohio National Guards. I want to thank them for that, as well as 9 Black Hawk helicopters from New York, Wisconsin, Colorado, Louisiana, and Kansas National Guards. And I want to thank them for that. There are more than 1,800 local law enforcement officers ready to complete missions and deploy wherever needed. Some of those officers have already deployed into the impacted area. So we're gonna augment local police in all the impacted areas. We have 150 fish and wildlife conservation officers responding for rescue missions. The Florida Highway Patrol has 50 troopers in the Panhandle. And many troopers, they drove through the night to get down to the coast and begin rescues. There are more than 1,000 search and rescue personnel with 5 fire engine strike teams, 7 swiftwater rescue teams, and incident management team from the Florida Forest Service. Our search and rescue teams have already moved into Panama City, Mexico Beach, Tyndall, Alligator Point, Carabel, and air assets have made contact with Apalachicola and St. George Island. So here's how it works. First off, it's unbelievable what they did last night. If you look at, I don't know if it's every time since I've been governor, it seems like every storm has been at night, and so we were able to start search and rescue right away. This one, as you know, happened during the day, so we couldn't do it during the day yesterday. So, but what was remarkable is if you go, and Wes Mall will explain this after I finish my briefing, but we have all these teams going down each of these quadrants to get to the coast and get to people as quickly as we can. What's remarkable is they work through the night. They work through the night where the lighting's bad. There's unbelievable, there's a lot of forest here, and there's a lot of tree damage, but on top of that, there are down power lines. So everybody worked together last night to get to all those communities, and we're continuing to work all day today. So we're getting all the roads that we can open, and then we're fanning out because just think about it, this is a very dense part of the state. And so it's going to be a lot of work to get to everybody, but we will get to everybody. The Florida National Guard got down to Mexico Beach last night and made contact with about 20 residents that thankfully were not injured or in distress. These soldiers also linked up with local law enforcement, and they're continuing their mission. These brave men and women have already made incredible progress by getting into these areas, and they're working in unimaginable conditions. And I know what I'm going to see today is way worse than I would ever have imagined. The Florida Department of Health has 80 ambulance strike teams and 400 ambulances to support search and rescue operations, healthcare facility evaluations, and local EMS augmentation. We have 2 hospitals that are down in Panama City, and the state health officials are actively working to evaluate those hospitals, provide critical care to patients. I spoke with the individuals responsible for those hospitals, and they're very appreciative of the efforts all night long to evacuate critical patients, and I know we're working efforts today to get the patients out of there. And then I want to thank everybody that's helping open up temporary facilities to take care of our injured. Department of Health has 50 nurses to staff special needs shelters, 3 federal disaster medical assistant teams with 105 staff, 1 hospital augmentation team from the International Medical Corps, which includes 50 nurses, 2 hospital emergency department teams, and 1 emergency hospital. I went through this back with Irma, and what the services they can provide in this temporary facility is remarkable, and it's just a class act group of people that work very hard to want to take care of people. This Florida Agency for Healthcare Administration continues to be in contact with healthcare facilities to ensure they have the resources they need. And my expectation is all of our patients are going to be taken care of. And ACA and Department of Health is working with all of our facilities to make that happen. We have 2 million meals, 1 million gallons of drinking water, and 400,000 pounds of ice that is being distributed right now. And we're going to get that out as quickly as we can and keep it flowing. The Red Cross is also bringing in 500 disaster relief workers to shelter and feed at sites in affected counties. And I want to thank the Red Cross. They've always shown up and done a great job. Right now, utilities are reporting more than 400,000 homes and businesses without power. So we'll have some updated numbers through the day. As you talked, here's what I've been talking to the utilities this morning, and today is they're doing everything to assess the damage and to come up with a plan to restore power. And they're bringing in assets. We have over 19,000 people working on power restoration, but the process is they've got to figure out exactly what they need to do, and then they've got to allocate the resources to get it done. It's very, very important that we all stay safe. You've got to listen to local officials. Do not try to travel home to a coastal county that was in the path of Hurricane Michael. It's not safe. It might not even be possible that you're going to be able to get there, and you could get in the way of law enforcement and rescue workers who are trying to do their job and save people's lives. Everyone needs to stay off the roads. The entire nation and world have watched as this monstrous storm has devastated our Gulf Coast and our Panhandle. The love and support we've received from so many has been overwhelming, and we greatly appreciate all of the resources and prayers that have been offered. On behalf of the Gulf Coast and the great state of Florida, I want to thank the nation for your prayers. We will stop at nothing to keep people safe. We will use every resource. We will not waver. We're not going to stop fighting. During disasters, Floridians take care of each other. We've been through a lot together, and we will continue to do that. Floridians are strong. Floridians are resilient. We will recover, and we will do it together. I just want to keep everybody safe. You can go to visit, if you want information on shelters or emergency assistance, go to floridadisaster.org. If you want to know about current road conditions, you can go to fl511.com. But just remember that on a lot of the roads, they're not going to be listed as closed because we don't have enough information yet, and they might be impassable. So we're getting more information all the time. But there's a lot of down power lines up here, and there's a lot of fallen trees, and it's dangerous. Everybody DOT, forestry, everybody's working hard to get our roads open. So it's going to take some time to survey and clear all the roads, but DOT will be updating the website as quickly as they can. You can call the State Emergency Information line for assistance. It's 1-800-342-3557, 1-800-342-3557. You can also get information at FL CERT or FL GovScot on Twitter for live updates. El huracán Michael fue una tormenta muy peligrosa. Escuché a los oficiales locales. Muy importante. Escuché a los oficiales locales y mantenga a su familia a salvo. Tenemos un esfuerzo masivo de respuesta para ayudar. I'll be glad to answer any questions. And again, when I finish, Wes will come up and explain the map, and I think everybody has one there.
You mentioned a number of internet resources and places to find information, but the problem is that even here in Tallahassee, cell phones are not working, there's no power. How do people learn anything?
Yeah, we're working. We're working to get we're working to get the power back on. We've been talking to the telecom providers to get them back up. We're going to do it as quickly as they can. But for those that do have it, this is where you can get information. But we're working hard to get it all up.
Governor, you said something about air assets got into St. George Island. Did you get any report as to, did they find people there? Did they rescue people there?
So what we know so far is that there didn't appear to be any significant issues there, but you really don't know all the information until you're on the ground.
I just know that you were concerned about that yesterday.
Yeah, because I know this thing came up fast. I know that we haven't had a lot of storm surge in the past. That people have had that experience, and I know that it picked up speed at the end. But I was really concerned about the people that, of course, didn't. So.